Presentar al doctor Luc Julia, a quien presentaré en inglés. El doctor Luc Julia, PhD, Dr. Luc Julia, PhD, is a distinguished researcher and leader in the field of human-machine interaction. Dr. Julia currently serves as the scientific director of Únete, where he leads cutting-edge research and development efforts. Prior to his current role, Dr. Julia held several high-profile positions in the tech industry, including CTO and Vice President for Innovation at Samsung Electronics, where he played a key role in shaping the company's Internet of Things vision and strategy. Dr. Julia is also well known for his contributions to Apple, where he co-created the voice assistant Siri and ran its division. In addition, he served as CTO at Hewlett-Packard and co-founded several startups in Silicon Valley. During his time at SRI International, Dr. Julia played a significant role in the creation of Nuance Communications, now a world leader in the field of voice recognition. Dr. Julia holds a PhD in computer science from the École Nationale Supérieure de Télécommunications in Paris, and he graduated with degrees in mathematics and computer science from the Pierre and Marie Curie University in Paris. He is the author of the best-selling book Artificial Intelligence Does Not Exist and has dozens of patents in his name. Dr. Julia's outstanding contributions to the tech industry have earned him numerous accolades, including recognition as one of the 100 most influential French developers in the digital world by the French government. He has been distinguished with the Légion d'honneur, the highest possible distinction in France. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Luc Julia to the stage.
Thank you, Alexis. Buenos días a todos. It will be my only Spanish words. Okay, we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. And I have some bad news. I'm going to tell you that it doesn't exist. You know. So, first of all, I'm the guy with the Hawaiian shirt. I'm the only one again. Yes. Good. And so, yes, artificial intelligence doesn't exist. What does that mean? It means that this is the artificial intelligence that we are talking about, for the past 10 years. The one that I call the Hollywood artificial intelligence. The one that is in the movies. The one that is scary, like in Terminator, or the one that you might think is cute, like in Her. Those artificial intelligences, they do not exist. There are many other artificial intelligences, and this is what I'm going to show you today. But don't be fooled by the movies. Okay? This is not a movie, this is real life. So, to understand what artificial intelligence is, we need to basically, go into the history. So, as I said, I think that we did a mistake calling this thing, artificial intelligence, because it gives us the idea that it is intelligent, and it's not. And I'm going to show it to you today. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It means that it's just not intelligent. But let's talk about the history. It didn't start 10 years ago. It started actually 67 years ago. Okay, it was in 1956 when a bunch of researchers in the University of Dartmouth in the States decided to create this new domain that they called artificial intelligence. What was it? It was basically mathematics, right? So they were trying to model with a mathematical model, a statistical mathematical model. They were trying to model a neuron. And they said, if I have a neuron, I can have a neural network. If I have a neural network, I have a brain. If I have a brain, I have intelligence. That was a stupid thing to say, okay? Because they just had a model of one neuron in mathematics. going to show you later that they actually failed, of course, because it was stupid. But this is where we started. But when you think about what they wanted to do, they basically wanted to create a machine, create, a robot that was going to do something that looked intelligent, right? And this is not new, it wasn't new. We, humanity, was trying to do that, for a long, long, long time. I mean, centuries. But since I'm French, I believe that us French invented it, of course. And I believe that we invented it, one guy invented it, back in 1642. What happened in 1642, Pascal, the French mathematician and philosopher, invented la Pascaline, which was the very first, I think, computer, right? So a machine that was able to do addition and subtraction. You are going to tell me, oh, that's not intelligent, and that's not that difficult, to do only addition and subtraction. Sure. So, how much is 1798 plus 1232? So maybe you are not intelligent, or maybe this is not intelligence. The reality is that, at the end of the day, it's not that easy. So the machine was doing something extraordinary. It was incredible that a machine like that in 1642 could do an addition that complex, right? Because the machine, by the way, would have been right. The result would have been good. And the result would have come, in something like 5 seconds. You didn't give me the result. And you, if you had given me a result, there was a good chance that you would have been wrong. This is the difference between a machine and a human. We are wrong. But that's good. We can be wrong sometimes. Anyway, we are building those machines for a long, long time. We are trying to do machines that are going to do something that look intellectual for a long time. And those guys in 1956, they actually failed with their little mathematical neuron because they tried to solve something that is the most difficult thing they could have tried to solve. They try to solve natural language. And natural language is very, very complicated. Even today, the machines that you have in your pocket, being Siri, Alexa, Google, whatever, it still doesn't work very well. Because, trying to understand people is difficult. You have words. Understanding the words is already something. And then you have the meaning. It's even more difficult. Right? So they tried to solve that, and they failed. With their little neurons, they couldn't do it. So what happened is that we entered, at the time, the very first winter of AI. What is the winter of AI? It's basically when we give up. We just say, this thing doesn't work, we're not going to do it anymore. Because they lied to us. Because they promised something that is not going to happen. So we don't give money anymore, no more research, the field disappears. Winter of AI. And frankly, if we continue to lie about AI, if we continue to say things that are not true about AI, we can very much enter new winters of AI. So we need to be straight about what it is. We need to really say what it is, and we need to say what it is not. Okay, so it's very, very important because AI actually does exist. It's not actually one AI, it's multiple AI. If I had to give you one definition for AI, I'm going to tell you that it's a toolbox. It's one toolbox, but inside the toolbox, you have many tools that are very different In a toolbox, I'm going to have a screwdriver, I'm going to have a hammer, I'm going to have a saw, I'm going to have a lot of different tools. This is exactly what AIs are. A lot of different tools that are very specialized. You are not going to use a hammer to drive a screw. You are not going to use a screwdriver to drive a nail. Okay? You use the tools for the very specific thing. And those tools, by definition, they are better than you. Because driving a nail in the wall with a hammer is much stronger, much better than driving a nail with your fist. Those tools, they are powerful. Those tools, they are working. But those tools, they are very, very specialized. I'll be back with that. But anyway, 1956, dead. No more artificial intelligence. One kind of artificial intelligence that was a statistical artificial intelligence. But in the 60s, something else came up. It was called the logical artificial intelligence that you may know as expert systems. Expert systems, they are basically, a bunch of rules. This is based on rules. If blah, 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 then blah, 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 and then, you can write a decision tree that is going to help you to navigate and to make some decisions. Those artificial intelligences back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, they were very, very powerful. And they worked very well. Very difficult to maintain, but very, very powerful. And one of them arrived, in 1997 when the one that is called Deep Blue from IBM did beat Kasparov, the world champion of chess. Very impressive. Is it smart to play chess? Is it intelligence? I don't know. But it's very impressive. I mean, chess is about 10 of the power of 49 moves. Lots of moves, right? So, very, very tough. But it's only rules. It's a game with rules. So, at the end of the day, it's not very difficult for an expert system that has all the rules. And in 1997, there was machines that had enough memory and enough computing power to calculate the winning move from any position. Kasparov was world champion, very good, but he had only 20 moves, in advance, when the machine had all the moves. So basically, it was impossible to beat it. So very impressive with the expert systems. In the 90s, something else happened. Something else that is going to bring back the artificial intelligence that I call, the statistical artificial intelligence. And what was, the thing, I'm going to show you. But we changed the name a little bit. Instead of calling that artificial intelligence, statistical artificial intelligence, we call that machine learning. It was much better to say that now we are going to teach the machines, we are going to teach them how to do stuff, And so, the thing that happened and why we could teach the machine is because we got something that was called the internet. And the internet came with a lot of data, big data, lots and lots of data. We don't see it here because there is a transition, but the internet, comes with a bunch of data. And then, in the 2000 years, we did a lot more data again. We got a lot more data through the internet, and we started to call that deep learning. It's even better. Good. So we have deep learning now with a lot of data, too much data. Of course, you heard about ChatGPT recently. ChatGPT is using 175 billion of data. I mean, it's a lot of data. It's incredible. It's basically the full internet. Okay. But let me go back a little bit to what happened in end of the 90s and 2000. The very first thing that the researcher did was a recognizer of cats. Cats. Recognizing a cat is very intelligent, right? So we found out that with the cats that were on the internet, we could have the biggest database on the cats. Because people were taking pictures of cats and they were posting on the internet. It was, lots of cats everywhere. And people were posting by saying, this is my cat, this is my kitty, this is my blah, blah, blah. It was an annotated database of cats. Incredible, right? We had a lot of cats, and with only 100,000 cats, we were able to create a recognizer of cats that was good at 98%. Wow, that's intelligence, right? 100,000 of cats is going to give you a recognizer of cats that is good at 98%. Aren't you impressed? You don't seem to be very impressed. And you're right. This is stupid. This is totally stupid. The question is, okay, this machine is going to recognize cats with 100,000 images of cats. Great. But us, humans, how many cats my 2-year-old daughter needs to recognize cats? Any idea? How many cats a human needs to see before they recognize cats forever? One is not enough because you don't know if it's the one, right? Actually, according to the psychologist, not to me because I don't know anything, but according to the psychologist, it's 2. So after seeing 2 cats, our kids, able to recognize cats forever, 100% of the time. Not 98%, 100% of the time. So what I'm saying here is that the methods that we are using in artificial intelligence, those statistical methods that are machine learning, deep learning, whatever, they have nothing to do with our brains. They have nothing to do with our intelligence. In addition to that, the difference between the 100% and the 98%, it's pretty interesting because my daughter, she's going to be able to recognize cats even at night. And do you know why the machine doesn't recognize cats at night? Any idea? It's because nobody ever posted on the internet an image of cat at night. Because we don't see them. So they don't exist for the machine. Anyway, let's continue on the history. And let's go now in 2016. 2016, yet it's another machine that is beating the world champion at Go this time. Not chess, but Go. Go is much more complicated than chess. If you ask mathematicians how many moves you have at Go, they are going to tell you that it's between 10 of the power of 200 to 10 of the power of 600. What that means is that we have no idea. We don't know. It's a lot. Okay? It's not more than chess. Remember, 10 of the power of 49, right? And 10 of the power of 200 is much more than 10 of the power of 49. Okay? It's not, like I heard recently, only 4 times more. A lot more. Lots of zeros, okay? We need to brush up on mathematics here. Anyway, so this machine in 2016 did beat the world champion at Go. It didn't use the logical methods that Deep Blue was using back in 97, but it used something that is called deep learning, using those new statistical methods. I said this one. So anyway, so it was very complex. I'm not going to go into the algorithms, but I'm going to open the guts of the machine. So the machine here, by the way, it doesn't look like that in reality. This is a drawing. Just checking. So this machine here, when you open it, inside there are 1,500 CPUs. The CPUs, the chips that you have in computers. 1,500 CPUs. When you look at it more, there are 300 GPUs. GPUs, yet another kind of chips that are doing matricial calculations. This is what you are using to graphical process unit, right? So to display stuff. And there are another type of chips that is brand new at the time that is called TPUs. TPUs, tensor processing unit, to do TensorFlow, which is a kind of deep learning method, okay, from Google. And those chips, they were actually done by Google, and the company that did that at the time was actually a subsidiary of Google. So anyway, inside this machine, it's 2,000 chips, 2,000 computers basically. 2,000 computers to play Go. 2,000 computers, it's a small data center. It actually uses about 440 kilowatts. 440 kilowatts just to play Go. That's ridiculous. Because of course, I'm going to compare with my little Korean sport champion there, you know, that is in front of the machine. What does he have? He has that. He has that for 18 years at the time. So it's running for 18 years, sorry. But he only has that. And do you know what that is in terms of what? You know what we have, what you have? Most of you, not all of them. But anyway, so do you know what it is? This is 20 watts. 20 watts, not kilowatts, watts. 20,000 times less than what the machine is using. And by the way, this little Korean guy, like all of you, not only can play Go, but he can talk, he can cook, he can do a lot of shit. Much more than the machine. The machine can only play Go with 440 kilowatts. And if I want the machine to do something else, I have to do everything over again. So the machines that we are building, they are so specialized that they are using so much power that we need to think about why and how we should use them. Because we don't have enough power to do everything in the world today using those machines. So we need to think about that. But it's one of the reasons is that we are using too much data, most likely. Right? And by the way, this data that we are using, this is not good data. You might have noticed that on the internet, not everything is true. You might know it, I hope you know it. There is a lot of crap on the internet. So, and this is the issue. When I was talking about ChatGPT earlier, I told you that ChatGPT was using 175 billion pieces of data. Basically all the internet. It means that ChatGPT is using a lot of crap. And ChatGPT is giving you a lot of crap. So be careful, but I'm sure that we'll have questions about ChatGPT later, but let me go back to this data, and trying to understand how we need to be careful also about the data. Because the data is biased. The data by definition is biased because it's too much. When I had my 100,000 images of cats, I pretty much can verify each of them, and I can verify that it is actually, a cat, and that it's not a dog. I can't do that with 100,000 pictures, but I cannot do that with millions and billions of pieces of data. And the data is going to be biased. An example of that is what happened, back in 2016 as well, when Microsoft released another chatbot that was called Tai. You may remember, that Microsoft released this thing. It was Tai was supposed to go on Twitter, and Tai was supposed to basically promote the Microsoft products, which is a very good idea, right? So he's going to be on Twitter and say, hey, use Excel, it's a great thing, blah, blah, blah. Good idea, right? You may remember that Microsoft, they had to unplug Ty after 16 hours of operation because Ty became the most racist and sexist, chatbot in humanity. I mean, it's incredible. Of course they didn't want that. Of course they didn't want to release something that they had to unplug after 16 hours. They spent months to, build the thing, and then to unplug it because it was actually bad publicity for them. Didn't make any sense. And of course, people, researchers, wonder what happened, and they try to analyze not the code because they didn't have it, but the behavior of Ty. And the conclusion is that there were basically two bugs. Bugs that happen, right? I mean, this is part of our jobs when we create systems. There are a lot of bugs. But anyway, so here there were two bugs, two big bugs. One bug that I'm going to call first, logical bug, right? A programmation bug, something that happens, all the time, and it wasn't actually very difficult to fix. When you create a system that is going to be an interactive system like a chatbot, what you do, you have a slider that is an adaptability slider. What does that mean? It means that this slider is going to decide how much you are going to adapt to the public to which you are talking. So when the slider is low, you control the conversation. When the slider is up, the public basically is going to decide how you talk. And in this case, it was a chatbot on Twitter. The slider was a little bit too high, and so you might know that on Twitter, after 2 or 3 interactions, you insult each other. So here it works pretty well, it insulted people then after 2 or 3 interactions. So, pretty easy to fix. You basically lower the slider, and you control the conversation, and then people don't insult each other. Easy. The other one was much more difficult to solve, because it was a data bug. What is a data bug? The data was wrong. So, in this case, again, when you create a system that is an interactive system, you need to create a model of the interaction. You need to create a model of the dialogue. And when you create a model of the dialogue, you need some examples. Yeah, like I wanted to create a model of cats, I needed some examples. The thing is that it's difficult to find a dialogue on the internet, like it's easy to find cats. So there is a database that exists in the States for the past 70 years, since the 50s. There is a database that's called Switchboard, that is a database of annotated conversations. What does that mean? It's conversations that are being recorded, conversations to call centers, where people are calling about their washing machine, their whatever, and it is recorded, it is transcribed, so we get the words, and it is annotated. We know if the people were pissed, if they were happy, or whatever. So it's a huge database of conversations. And us, people who are creating interactive systems, this is what we're using for now, decades. And so I can very well imagine this little, engineers at Microsoft who was supposed to build this system, he was told, just use the switchboard. Okay, I'm going to use switchboard, but on switchboards, there are millions of conversations. So he said, okay, to create my model, I don't need the millions of conversations. I'm going to take a subset, right? Okay, let's take the beginning of the database, Alabama in the 50s. I think that I need to make some explanation. Here, usually people say, So, okay, I didn't get any of that, so I'm going to explain. So, Alabama in the 50s, if you are a black person, it's not going very well. Okay? You are not a full citizen, let's say. So, of course, the model that is being created there is intrinsically racist. So, it means that the model is racist. So it means that the system is racist. So it means that after a little spark, of course, as soon as black people are going to be in the conversation somewhere, they are going to be bashed. Okay? So the data was biased since the beginning in the model. And when the data is biased, of course the model is biased, of course the system is biased. You are going to tell me, it doesn't matter. I just need to balance the stuff, and I remove the bad thing, and I keep only the good thing. What is the good thing? What does that mean? Are you right? Do you have the right ethical position? What is balancing? Am I going to, be the right guy to make the decisions? Is my company going to make the decisions? Is my country going to make the decision? What does that mean to be right? What does that mean to balance? Am I going to enter my own bias when I do that? Of course. So it's a very, very difficult problem, is that because the databases, those models that we are using, are so big, with so much data, that are taking so much power, the systems that we are building, we need to be very, very, very careful about them. And we need to be very, very critical about them. We shouldn't build stuff just to build stuff. We need to build stuff because we have to, and we need to build stuff when we understand the stuff. So talking about data and the thing that we don't understand, in AI, we talk a lot about black boxes. We say, yes, those systems, they are just black boxes because we don't understand them, And maybe this is why we shouldn't trust them, because they are black boxes. And this is not explainable. We cannot explain them. So if we cannot explain, we cannot trust. Today I'm going to go against that. I'm going to tell you that everything is explainable. There is somewhere someone that is able to explain one of those black boxes. Because those AIs, those systems, we build them. So someone somewhere is able to explain what was the goal, what was the data that it chose, might be wrong as we said before, what was the algorithm that it chose, might be wrong, could be a bug, but they're able to explain what was the goal. And so it happens actually all the time. It happens in all the different industries, the different sciences and stuff. At one point, there is a black box for some people, but some can explain. And for that, I'm going to tell you a story about a French, of course, mathematician that discovered the fractals. So you might know what fractals are. When I say the word, you might have seen something in your brain, that tells you what a fractal is. If you don't know what a fractal is, you can go to Wikipedia. But 1914, a French mathematician called Luc Julia discovered this equation that was a logarithmic equation that had a very, very interesting property. That had actually an incredible property. And he shared that in a journal, in a mathematical journal, with his mathematician friends, right? And they are all excited. They said, wow, it's incredible. This equation is incredible. For them, it wasn't a black box. For them, it was obvious. They were mathematicians, those smart guys. For most of the population, it didn't mean anything. For most of the population, it was a black box. It was an equation, of logarithm that we don't care about, right? It was an equation. I don't know what it is, I don't understand what it is. 1955, Julia is professor at a school that is called Polytechnique in France, and he has a very good student whose name is Benoît Mandelbrot. Benoît Mandelbrot listens well, and he leaves to the States, to IBM, where he is given one of the very first computers, right? And what he does, he enters in the computer the formula, the equation of Julia. By the way, he calls it Mandelbrot equation, but that's fine. Yeah, that's bad. It's okay. Anyway, I come back to that. So he called that Mandelbrot equation, and then appears on the screen these beautiful leaves, you know, that when I talked about fractal, for people who knew fractal, this is what you have in your brain. And this leaf is unbelievable, because when you look at it, you see at any level of the leaf, you see the same leaf, and the same leaf, and the same leaf. The incredible property of the fractals was recursivity. Recursivity was something that was totally, you know, a black box for most of the people until they saw these images. It was incredible. And then it became totally transparent for everybody. Everybody understood what fractals mean, what recursivity means. I'm not saying that in 40 years, everybody will be able, you know, to understand all the AIs and that we'll have all transparent boxes. But I'm saying that if we want to, we can. If we want to explain, we can. We might have to use some other AIs to explain the AIs, but we can do it. So bottom line, there is no black box. There is only, you know, lack of education or lack of explainability because of us. Since I'm pissed, you know, about this Luc Julia thing, I'm going to continue to be pissed about something else. I'm going to be pissed about autonomous cars. Autonomous cars. This thing, I cannot take it anymore. Okay? So I'm going to explain what is it and what it's not. When I'm talking about autonomous cars, I'm talking about autonomous car level 5. There are 5 levels, you know, in autonomy. And when people are talking about autonomous cars in general, they are talking about the ultimate one, level 5. The one when a car will be able to go from point B to point A, or the opposite, in any condition. And this is what my good friend Elon Musk in 2018 declared autonomous cars level 4-5 are now. Bullshit. And I'm going to prove it, by the way, but I'm telling you today that autonomous cars level 5 will never exist. It's impossible. I'll prove it. But first, let's understand what we want to do. You know? We want basically to drive people safely from one A to B in any condition. And if level 5 will never exist, level 4 will exist. But where are we today? Despite what Musk is saying, today, 5 years later, after what he said, we are at level 2.5, maybe 2.7. We are close to 3. But 5 years later, we are nowhere next to 5. Because level 5 will never exist. And I'll prove it. We will reach level 4. And level 4 will be incredible. Level 4 will be already, saving a lot of lives. Today on the roads there are about 1 million people dying, all over the globe. It's a lot of people. With level 4, most likely we can prevent about 90% of the accidents. There will still be accidents. We shouldn't lie about it. There will be accidents, but 90% less. It's a lot of lives that can be saved. Level 4 will be incredible because most of the time it will be autonomous. Most of the time we won't have to touch the wheel. Most of the time it will go, without any human intervention. But sometimes it will need human intervention. So level 4 is not fully autonomous. Level 4 is not level 5, because level 5 will never exist. Oh boy, you're a tough crowd, huh? It's complicated. Okay, let's try again. Level 5 will
never exist.
Okay, let's prove it. So I have two proofs. I have many more, but I'm going to share two with you today. One that is very French. But for the people who had the chance to go to France or to watch a little bit of movies, around Paris, there is in Paris a square that is well known where we have the Arc de Triomphe in the middle. That is a huge, thing with a lot of cars, a lot of traffic, a bunch of things that are moving there. And at 6 p.m. at night, every day, it's the biggest traffic jam you can imagine, So it's a mess. I mean, nothing to do with what happens here, but I will come back to that. But anyway, so this square, is incredible. And so here you just have to imagine what will happen if you ask an autonomous car to go from one of those avenues to the other side of the roundabout. If you put an autonomous car at 6 p.m. right there, and you say, go there, the autonomous car will be stuck. It won't move. It won't move by 1 inch. For one main reason. The one main reason is that the autonomous car is going to follow the rules of driving. If you do follow the rules of driving on the Place de l'Étoile in Paris, you don't move. This is the fact. You have to learn something else, some other skills. You have to learn some skills of negotiation. And you have several skills of negotiation. So, unless you have those cars learning those skills, those cars won't move. I have difficulties to understand how you can teach, But maybe just imagine that it's okay. You teach the car how to negotiate, how to forget the rules of driving, and the car will cross the thing. You spend 10 years doing that, but you have it. Now, this very car, you take it and you bring it to, let's say, Bolivia. Good luck. Because here, as Alexis told me yesterday, the red light, it's information. Okay, great. I mean, shit, it's impossible, right? So you have this one. Let me give now the one that I give when I am in the States. There I know. Rules are rules. So it's a very interesting thing that comes from Waymo. Waymo is a company that is working on autonomous driving for 10 years. They are most likely the most advanced company in terms of autonomous driving, much better than Tesla and Musk. And the CEO of Waymo, back in 2018, when Musk said, it's bullcrap, the CEO said, okay, we need to stop to say bullshit, and to promise something that does not need to exist. And me, the CEO of Waymo, the most advanced company in autonomous driving, I'm going to give away all my data. I'm going to give away 10 million miles of recorded drive, all over the world, that they recorded through cars, and so 10 million miles of driving, basically. And he said, I'm going to give that away for people to use those data in order to create models to try to reach level 4. Because level 5
will never exist.
Thank you. So, he did put all this video, on YouTube. And so people like myself, who are working in this, domain, I went there immediately to find a gem. What I'm going to call a gem is something that proves that I'm right. That this thing will be like this because it's just impossible. And 10 million miles of video, it's wrong to watch. Of course, I didn't like that, even if you do, time too, it takes a lot of time. So anyway, after only an hour or so, I find the first gem. I found a lot of gems actually. But one of them I'm going to show it to you today. And it's coming directly from a video, that is in this database. So you have a car that is driving on the roads of Mountain View. Mountain View is the city where Google is, and by the way, Waymo is another subsidiary of Google. So this guy is driving. There is nothing happening in Mountain View. It's boring. No traffic, nothing. The car drives, and like that, the car stops. The car stops for 2-3 seconds. Those 2-3 meters stops again. 2-3 meters stops again. 2-3 meters stops again. And after that, after 5 or 6 times, you see on the camera, you see that there is a safety driver on those cars. So you see the hands of the guy in the car taking the wheel and drives away, right? Because behind him, people were wondering, what was happening. It didn't make any sense. This car was stopping, going, like that. And then you watch the video a little bit closely. And you see that on the sidewalk, on the side of the road, there are 2 guys walking in the same direction of the car. Okay? On the side. Very good. Meaningless, right? But you look a little bit closer again, and you see that the guy that is on the left side of the sidewalk, on his shoulder, he has a stop sign. You see a jerk on the side of the road, walking with a stop sign. You don't stop. Especially you Bolivians, but if you do stop in this case, I need to talk to you. So you need to come to see me after, because you are incredible. But of course, what does the smart car do? The smart car sees the stop sign, and the stop sign, and the stop sign. The smart car is totally stupid. And the smart car cannot adapt to a situation that it never saw before. A situation that is not in a model. A situation that is incredible. Us humans, we are going to adapt. We are going to see this guy on the side of the road with a stop sign. It's a guy on the side of the road with a stop sign. Doesn't make any sense. I never saw that before. It's totally stupid. But I'm driving the car. You are going to tell me, okay, so you can do something, you can just do random. Yeah, don't do random with a smart car. It's not a good idea. So you need to have human intervention when something happened that you never saw before. And this is why level 5 will. Very good. Okay, so we're done with that. I'm good? I'm good. Too bad for you, another hour. Kidding. Okay, let's talk about Siri a little bit. So I don't like to talk about Siri because, it's old now. I mean, we created Siri actually in 1997, right? So it was a long time ago, way before, a little bit before Google. And so the idea of Siri at the time was really to have an assistant that you can talk to, that is going to help you to navigate the internet. That was the idea. We knew, and you understand my philosophy now, that we don't like to lie about the systems. I don't like to lie about the system. I don't want to lie about the capacity of the technology. I don't want to lie about the fact that, the database are biased. I don't like to lie about the fact that we are taking too much energy. Okay? So at the time, I didn't want to lie about the fact that speech recognition wasn't working. Okay? It was bad. And it's still bad. If you are using Siri, Google, Alexa, you still know that it doesn't work very well. It's better today, but at the time, it was really bad. I mean, really bad means, 80%, 85% of recognition, which is bad. And because we knew that it wasn't working and that we knew that we wanted to bring the system to people, we invented a new concept. That's what I called artificial stupidity. Artificial stupidity is actually, what those systems are doing the best. When they don't know what you are talking about, they are going to act stupid. Instead of making you think that they do understand, they are going to make you think that they do not understand. So when you say something, and it was a success of Siri actually when it came to the public only in 2011, which was 14 years after we built it. So but when we came to the public, we actually added this stupidity by adding those jokes that Siri was saying. Basically, when we didn't know what to answer, it was saying something else and drive you to something where you were at least smiling. So Siri was built on the promise that the technology doesn't work. It was as simple as that. We can talk more about it if you want. But I want to come back to artificial intelligence now and to explain why I don't want to call that artificial intelligence, but as I said earlier, artificial intelligences. Or I have another word for that still keeps AI, but I call that augmented intelligence. And augmented intelligence is not the name or the domain. Augmented intelligence is us. We are augmented by those tools. Like any tools, like the hammer, like the screwdriver, like any tools that are augmenting our own capacities in terms of physical capacities, those AIs, they can augment our intelligence because they are going to help us to do some basic tasks and they are going to help us to concentrate on the very difficult ones. You notice that during this talk I didn't really give any definition of intelligence because actually I have no idea what it is, right? But since I am a mathematician, I like to try to define everything with mathematics. So here, I'm going to give you an incredible mathematical definition of intelligence. I hope you're ready because it's tough. I hope that you are good with your mathematics because you are going to have to follow here. Actually, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to project intelligence, all the things about intelligence. I'm going to project that on this 2D graph. Everything that you learn about the fact that there are 3 intelligences, 7 intelligences, 14 intelligences, give a shit, okay? Forget that. I'm going to project that in this beautiful graph. Here, when you look at the numbers on the left, this is the level of intelligence, okay? Level of intelligence. 0, Donald Trump, to 100, a genius. Okay, a genius. Here, you are going to have the domains of intelligence. Whatever it is, all the domains that we humans know can talk about. Especially us French, we can talk about everything. This is us, humans. Incredible. We are not geniuses, but we can basically talk about everything. We understand, we have notions about anything. We are pretty good. Some have better things than others, but that's fine. We are pretty good. Mathematically speaking, this is a continuous line. Okay? Easy. Continuous line. On any domain, we can say something. Good. I'm going to claim actually something else. I'm going to claim that it's continuous and that it's infinite. Because for anything we are going to come up with that we never saw before, we are going to kind of understand what it is. Remember the guy with the stop sign? We are going to come up with something. We are going to react, we are going to adapt. We are continuous and infinite. This is what human intelligence is. I claim. Projection, easy. Let's look at artificial intelligences. Let's look at chess. Chess, where is it? We saw it before, since 1997, chess is a genius. If you do beat your computer at chess, it's because you did put it at level 2. You have 0 chance. Okay? Not better us. Go. Where is Go? Go is interesting because, as I said before, it's something that there are some moves that have never been played in the universe today. Still. Incredible game because it's basically infinite even though it's not. But I say that Go is more than a genius. Incredible. Good. Driving. Level 4 will exist. Level 5
will never.
I love you. So level 4 is going to be better than us. Of course, it's going to drive better than us. The tool is going to be better than us. It's going to brake better. It's going to see better. It's going to do better than us. Especially if us are driving, while texting, or like drinking. So, of course, it's going to be better than us. I'm going to skip this one, I'll come back. But what I'm saying is that in any domain, HR, law, medicine, whatever you want, in any domain, we can build a tool which, by definition of a tool, is better than us. If it's not better than us, it's not a tool. We don't use it, right? So we use it only if it's better than us. In any of those domains, very specialized, we can build an AI that is going to be better than us. What is interesting in what I drew here is that those lines, what are they in mathematics? They are discrete lines, right? Discrete lines. How many discrete lines do you need to achieve continuity, to achieve human capabilities? How many discrete lines do you need to achieve continuity? This is pure mathematics here and a little bit of philosophy.
Impossible.
33? No.
Impossible.
You need infinity. And you may know that infinity is complicated. It's a lot. Okay? So before you can reach infinity, it's going to take a lot of time. So what I'm just saying here is that you have no chance, 0 chance, to match human intelligence. Some people are going to tell me, yeah, but when you're going to have 2 lines that are very, very close to each other, like we have here, delivery and driving, this is very close domain. They are next to each other, so we could, but what is called in AI, transfer learning, learn from one domain to the other, and maybe by capillarity, reach continuity. Maybe. There's one issue. The one issue is what's happening between those two continuous closed lines. So those two lines that are next to each other in mathematics, they are very, very, very close. They are very, very, very close. They are touching each other. But there is an issue. You know what the issue is? It's right there. What is separating between those two lines? What do you have between those two lines? Even though you could do transfer learning, there is always one case somewhere that is not going to be covered by one or the other, and you are going to miss something. And actually, it's not one. It's infinite together. This infinity crap, is very tiring because it basically breaks all the models, right? So, again, it's going to be very complicated. So now, look at the infinite part here, this one there. It's interesting, we just invented something right there. Oh, you just invented something. And so now the three of you know, because you talk about it, right? So you invented something, you are smart about it, you are in this dotted line there. Where is the artificial intelligence? Nowhere. It's nowhere because we need the data. We need to decide, how to build the thing. First of all, we need to decide if we're going to do it. And we need to gather the data, and we need to build the model. We. This is our responsibility. Those AIs, this is not Hollywood. They are not coming up like that. We build them. We decide how to use them. We decide if we need to use them. We regulate them if we have to regulate them. We collectively do that. Because an AI is exactly like a hammer. I can use it the right way. I can use it to drive the nail. He knows where I'm going. And I can use it the wrong way. To hit the head of Remy. And it's not good. We decide collectively that it's not good. But at the end of the day, who has the handle of the hammer in his hand? I don't. You have to. Okay. She knows that the hammer as well. So the reality is that we all have the handle of the hammer. We decide how to use those AIs. We decide how to build them. We decide how to use them. We decide how not to use them. We need regulation. We need education. If we don't educate ourselves about those things, then it can go a way that we don't know. But it will be our fault. We need to educate ourselves. We need to understand what it is, and we need to decide. Thank you very much.